Welcome back to another conversation with Stephen Whiting, the co-founder of StreetText. For those of you who missed the previous video that we did with Stephen, maybe a couple videos now at this point, I will link to them in the description below. Stephen, a co-founder of StreetText, has been at the forefront of innovative solutions for the product of StreetText, and today we're diving into one of their recent product releases of SMS or automated text strips through Julie is the name of their text solution, which allows you to text strip and ultimately text strip out of FollowUp Boss. So really excited to dive into this new automation tool. But before we dive into the specifics of that tool, can you share, like Julie's been around for a while. Can you share like how the original concept of Julie came to be and what inspired you to expand on that product to create the automated text campaigns?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. So StreetText is most well known for its ability to create very easy ads on Facebook. So, and the ads are designed to generate leads. So if you're a real estate agent and you're looking to meet new clients, you come to a tool like Facebook, even if you know nothing about Facebook, or even if you have run your own ads in the past, but you just don't, it's just too much of a hassle or too much work. You come to StreetText, our platform makes it super easy. You can deploy them, you get the results you're looking for. And so what came out of that naturally for us was, a lot of leads get generated and real estate agents are busy. As we all know, they're out showing property, they're doing things. And they wanted a tool that could respond very quickly to the leads. So we created Julie, or we got a couple names for her. So if you ever see this, it's Conversations by StreetText or Julie, Conversations by StreetText through Julie. And so Julie is just really a name that we put in as your assistant, because as a real estate agent, again, you're busy, you're out there. You can rename Julie anything you want, but Julie can reach out on your behalf. So lead comes in and, a couple minutes later, Julie is reaching out saying, hello, just checking in, got your request. Thanks so much. I'm just reaching out on behalf of Mike. And, did you have any changes to your property? Was there anything else about your property that we should know about, right? Whatever it may be. And then, of course, if they don't respond, the nice thing about how we designed Julie was she would then text again and again and again, and until we got a response. And as soon as we got a response to Julie, it would then hand over to the agent. So now it's up to the agent to make that follow-up response, either as Julie again, or saying, hey, I'm Mike. Julie, let me know that you had a couple more things about your property, and then you could text them on your own phone, right, and take it over. So that, in essence, was the sort of the premise of Julie. And the cool thing about the way we designed it is we built the text messaging or Julie into each ad. So when you deployed our existing ads, they already had a whole bunch of pre-built text messages designed to start a conversation for that ad type. And of course, you could modify or change them. Some of our ads, are so customizable that we didn't have anything, but you could, of course, add it in after the fact. So that's the origin story of how Julie got started, and it's since evolved. I could expand on that, or you might want to ask a question to that.
Yeah, so how did you go from, okay, now we've got this tool available in StreetText to create the automation for specific ad types, whether it's an automation your team has created for one of the ad templates or the agent decides to do it. How did you evolve from that over to let's allow our users to use the texting platform not only to expand beyond what has been created in StreetText, but even as like a potential, I guess, like standalone SMS software where you don't have to use it just for ads through StreetText. You can use it for other lead sources. You can use it for other buckets of your database, because that's a big expansion from the original concept.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So previously it only worked with StreetText leads. And I might have to, I don't know if you can hear anything, but I have a little puppy back here that's doing some stuff. So I might have to show him on camera in a minute if he's making too much noise. But so it was really actually at the last FubCon event that we were at, and they made a big announcement that they had a new feature called the Fub Inbox. And the Fub Inbox was a great way of bringing in all the conversation or the text messages that were happening with a particular lead and making it much easier to see and respond to that. And that was really what caught our attention. There were a couple of limitations to our tool, I would say, in the sense that, a lot of our customers are FollowUp Boss users already. And so they were on FollowUp Boss. They appreciated that our system would reach out as Julie, but then if they got a response or our phone said, hey, you've got a message, you'd have to go back to StreetText to respond. And the inbox completely has changed all that. So what we did is we made it so that StreetText could tie into the Follow Up Boss inbox. So any and all messages coming through our ads would go into the inbox. But then in doing so, we also made it so that you could use StreetText for any lead that's being generated. And so one of the things that Follow Up Boss, as everybody knows, or most people know, if you don't know, Follow Up Boss has a great system in the fact that they make sure that they're protecting the phone numbers that you're using with Follow Up Boss. And they allow you to send an individual text automatically if a new lead comes in from somewhere. But if you want to continue that conversation via text, you're going to manually respond, or like you yourself or one of your team members is going to go into that lead and they're going to send a text message back and forth with that lead. And that's a good system. There's nothing wrong with that system at all. But that's also where tools like us come in, because maybe when a new lead's generated through, maybe it's Zillow or Facebook or your open house or wherever else you've got, and the lead's coming in to Follow Up Boss, you might want, kind of similar to what Julie did before, you want that our system to text them and then text them again and again and again until you get that conversation. And you want it to be done automatically because it's just too much work to remember to go in and send a message the next day to all these leads that are coming in. And we have found over and over and over again, it is on our platform, it often is between about 6 to 8 messages is that sweet spot for getting a response. You sometimes get them on message 1 and you sometimes get them a lot longer, but it's typically about 6 to 8 messages to get that first response. And often the responses are positive too, but it took that follow-up to get there. And who has the time to remember, if you've got 100 leads coming in a month, you got to be sending 600 text messages every month, or your team members do, and it's just too much work to do. But if you don't set it up, you undoubtedly miss conversations. Like our clients that don't use it and don't have like any other texting trips set up anywhere else, they have less conversations with their leads than those that use our tool. And we have tons of data on that. So it really is important that you do have a system that can continually, start a conversation, try to get that conversation, because people are busy. The leads are busy, right? And they're just, they're maybe they were even curious about something and then, they don't really want to respond to you, but a week later they actually will, right? And so, but you have to make sure that you're messaging with them. So hopefully that answers your question. But now the way we design it with Follow Up Boss is you can actually use our texting completely as a standalone. You don't even need to have our ads. If you add our ads, great. It's all seamless. If you don't, no big deal. You can run our texting through FUB with all the automations, action plans, and with any lead that's coming in from anywhere, or even old leads. You can even revive your old leads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So a lot of our viewers are visual learners. Are you open to kind of sharing your screen and showing what the integration looks like between the StreetText, Julie, SMS conversations, and how it integrates with Follow Boss?
Yes, I do. I brought up Chase's account. I just don't have access to his FUB account, so I may just show you little parts on one side and then some other parts on the other side. But what I'll do here really quick is let me just go over to Follow Up Boss, and I will just quickly log in as myself for a minute, and then just show you. Would it be helpful? What I'll do is I'll show you a little bit how to build it, and then don't worry if this seems at all hard, because you're on the right call today. There's a lot of systems and work that's been done to make this very, very easy for you, so you don't have to even think about anything. What I'll do is let me just share my screen really quickly. So if you're in here, this is Chase's account. What we've done is under the settings tab here on the right and under integrations, we have, and I'll show this what this looks like on the Follow Up Boss side too when you're integrating. But we have all of these different settings with the integration. It's a very, very robust integration. There's a lot that you can do. And there's obviously a lot on the ad side. But the key things that you're going to be focused on here is when you come to integrate, all you need to do is you just put in your API key from Follow Up Boss, which I'll show you in a second, and you connect it. And I'm just showing you the step right after that, which is these are all the settings. The two that are going to be interesting to you is going to be your inbox sync and your scheduled conversations. So what the inbox does is it allows, as long as this setting is turned on, any conversations that are being generated are going to show up in your inbox. Otherwise, they would just show up like how Fob used to do it, and it would just show up in the context timeline. But this is a very powerful feature. You definitely would want that one on. The second one that you want on is this scheduled conversations. And this is exactly what we were talking about here. This allows you to send messages to anybody with custom delays. And so you're going to want to have this feature on. And I'll talk about some of these other ones in just a minute, but these are the two that you're going to want to have on. So if I was now in Follow Up Boss side, let's go share my screen again. And feel free to jump in with anything else or questions, Alina, along the way. So if I was in the Follow Up Boss side and I was going to integrations, all integrations, if you scroll down, StreetText has two integrations. So you can see this one here. This is our main integration that is for the ads. So you don't even have to do this one. You can, it won't hurt anything, but but the one that you're most likely going to be interested in is this one down here called Inbox Apps, and it says Conversations by StreetText. And so you're going to click on this one, and it's gonna connect you to our platform. And this is the one that's going to allow you to turn those conversations on, and everything will show up in your inbox. And so when you're in here now, if you wanted. And Alina's done a lot of work on this too, but I'll show you briefly kind of what this can look like in a second. If I was in an action plan and I was going to create, say, a new action plan, and let's just say I have all these leads coming in from Zillow. Let's just say there's Zillow leads. We're going to call that. Follow Up Boss allows you to send that initial text message as we were describing. So you could send this initial text message, but in this case, I wouldn't do it because I can't send any more messages after the fact. So I'm going to leave it as just like this. And then when I go to create my steps, I'm going to look down here and I can see I can click create a task. I can send an email, but you'll notice in here, there's nothing in here that allows you to send text messages. And so what StreetText has done once you've integrated is you can actually use this feature called add note. And when you add a note, right now, this is going to run immediately because we just have it set as running immediately. And I'll show you how to customize this in a second. You could put in a note like anything. You could say, just checking in to see how things are going, right? Doesn't really matter. I'm just making these up for right now. And you would obviously make it a little bit more better than that. Now, if you made it as just a note like this, and I save this, this is just going to create a note for that lead when it comes in. But just in front, if you add this bracket and you type in the word now, and I close that bracket, what this does with that integration is it's actually going to tell our system that this note is actually now designed to be a text message and you want to send it immediately when the step fires. So this would temporarily create a note in your lead, and then it would turn this note into an actual text message, and it would send out on your behalf to that lead. And of course, if they respond, it's going to come directly to your inbox. And it seems like a completely fluid, natural conversation. Now, if I wanted to, let's say, I want 2 days later, I want another text message to go out because they never responded to this one. So you would just do the same thing. You would add a note and you would say, I'll just put in here again now, but I'll change that in a minute. I would say something like, are you still interested? So in this case, this text message went out. 2 days later, this text message is going to go out, but it's going to go out immediately based on the fact that this 2 days is going to fire. But you can actually customize this. And so I'm just going to hop over and share my screen again because I wish I could do it all at one time, but I'm just going to show you this. You have these different options here. And again, don't worry if it seems overwhelming. Now just basically means that messages are going to get sent immediately, regardless of business hours. Scheduled means that they're going to send during your business hours. And this is a really cool feature. You can actually customize the business hours that you want your text messages to go out at. So you'll never, for example, you never have to risk that a message would ever go out at, say, 2 in the morning, if that was not intended, because your business hours are from, say, 8 to 8 in the morning to 8 p.m. If a text message is set to go at, say, 9 p.m., it would then hold that message until the following day, and it would send it out at 8 a.m. So this is the scheduled one. So now we'll always send immediately. This is scheduled. Or if you wanted to, you have these other options. There's a lot of flexibility here. You can decide that you want to send a message, say, in 15 minutes or in 2 hours. So if I hopped back over to where I was just working again, here, you would see in our action plan, I could change this to say 30 minutes. Now, what that basically means is that in 2 days, when this lead came in, if you first got this one, in 2 days and 30 minutes, it's going to send us text message. Or you can just put in scheduled, and you know that in 2 days, regardless of what time it comes in, say it was midnight, it's going to hold it for the following day. So using this very simple, little bit of, I guess you could call it like a keyword or a little bit of code at the beginning, but it's very simple. You can actually build out very interesting and powerful ongoing text automations. And you can repeat this as many times as you like, and you can schedule, you can create as many as you like and schedule them at any different intervals as you'd like. And then as leads come in, they're going to go through this automation and receive these text messages. And you can trigger them. I mean, Alina can tell you more about that, but you can trigger these on obviously a variety of different things. You can trigger them based on tags. You can trigger them on stage changes. There's a ton of things you can trigger them on. And this action plan would then start and send the text messages. So, Alina, maybe I'll give it to you there to jump in. Did I cover everything well?
You did, yeah. Thank you for sharing all that info. So I know that your team hosts weekly masterminds, so I'm sure you're getting a lot of feedback. Have you heard of any feedback specific to this feature since release on how it's been helping agents increase their response rates and engagement?
Yeah, it's so there's a few use cases that have come up, but so far people have really enjoyed it. It's quite simple. It mirrors everything in StreetText. So when you see the conversation in FollowUp or in the lead, everything's mirrored on your StreetText side as well. So there's never a gap as to what's happening, which is really nice. We actually have some interesting use cases that have come up. So one of the things is that some people want StreetText automations to run texting, and then they want to hand it over now using tags to other automations to fire. So you can do all of that. We're just releasing another new feature where you can assign these conversations to team members, and when the team members respond, it stays in their inbox, which is really nice as well. So that was a feature request that's come up, but it already works like that. And when the team responds, it goes back through the main accounts. You only need one account, which is really nice. You only need one phone number. You can actually share that phone number if you like. You can also have multiple phone numbers, but one phone number is actually really nice because you could have one StreetText number, and then as leads are coming in, if they're assigned to different agents, that agent can then respond. And if you transfer, say, the conversation, it's all now in that same thread. And so that's actually been a really nice use case. People are loving that. But yeah, all in all, it's just a very simple tool. I think one of the benefits of the texting platform is that once you have it set up, it's largely set and forget. I think the most challenging part for a lot of people is the initial idea of like, oh, I've got this really powerful tool. I can text anybody in any lead, but what are all the use cases that I should set up? And then what should I say? That's, I think, where most people get a little bit stuck. And we have some resources on that, but yeah, that's where partners like yourself, actually, Alina, are very, very helpful as well.
Yeah, and I wanted to share my screen and show some other examples just to get your creative juices flowing for those who are watching of different automations you can create in FollowUp. Are you seeing my screen share?
Yes.
So what you can do is you can create automations for lead flow, like Stephen was saying. Let me go into blur mode too. So think about first, like if you generate leads, that's probably where you want to focus first. You'll go to your admin lead flow page in FollowUp and I have got my lead sources blurred now, but take a look at the lead sources you generate and determine which ones are most important to you to start creating and developing an action plan for. You may already have an email action plan running, but now you can integrate texting into that action plan to increase your response rate. In fact, if you're curious if it's even worth it to do texting, we see an average of about a 20% increase in response rate with our clients when they couple the email and the texting at the same time. Mm-hmm. So you're reaching, out of 100 people, you're reaching 20 more of those 100 people that you text now. That's the first place that you want to use text strips, as those sort of the most obvious. But then the second place is automations for existing leads. So like Steven mentioned, you don't have to only use this for StreetText ads. You can also use it for other ads, but then you can also just use it as another automation in FollowUpBoss. So just like you are probably already using automation for email drips, you can also use automation for SMS drips. So we personally do that with our own accounts. My account looks a little crazy, but I basically got like the email version and the SMS version running at the same time. But so for an example, you can say,
And
when,
Alina, I
oh
know
yeah,
people are going to wonder because why do you run you run an email campaign and a text campaign side by side, and you do that because?
a few reasons. The one, which is the biggest reason, is we set the well, I guess it's hard to explain. So if FollowBoss determines that we get a bad number or a wrong number, FollowBoss pauses the action plan. So if we were to combine the text and the email into one action plan, and then FollowBoss paused it because it detected a bad number, then the email is no longer sent. So we separate it out now. That way, if it's a bad number, okay, pause the SMS version, but keep running the email version. That's the main reason we do it. The other reason is just for easier for us to manage the SMS campaign. It's easier for us to edit what the text messages say. But the biggest reason was the first one, where FollowBoss pauses the plan if it's a bad number.
Yeah, I think that's actually really smart because I think it gives you a lot more flexibility in the future too. Like if you needed to disable one, you could easily disable it without having to go in and yeah. So I think
Yeah.
that's super smart.
Yeah, and I'm sure is the same case for Aegis, but for us, we're constantly testing SMS versus no SMS, especially with people we're nurturing. Do we want to send this SMS strip? Let's try it out. Okay, no, there was a disconnect. There's too much rapport already built. We don't need to SMS drip them. So we turn off that SMS drip, but leave on the email drip. So we're constantly testing and turning on and off different things that we're trying out. But yeah, so some examples of how you can use automation is, let's say you speak to someone and they're not quite ready to work with you. Let's say they're a buyer. So we use like hot, warm, cold stages. So let's say if I move someone to hot, warm, or cold, so I say, okay, if I'm going to move the stage of a lead to one of these three stages, then I want my nurture, buyer. Gosh, I have so many nurture. No, that's Spanish. SMS nurture buyer to trigger. And I only want it to trigger for people that are actually tagged and labeled as a buyer. So now you can use automation to keep in front of people, not only for email, which you probably were already doing, but now you can use it for SMS as well. Another example is if you use outside integrations that track activity, you can create an automation based on behavior to say, when someone views a property on my website, then I want to send, maybe you're using like some sort of re-engagement email drip. Now you can send a text drip to increase that response rate, where if you've got your IDX integrated with FollowUpBoss through the Pixel or through a direct integration, it's going to track when someone views a property on your IDX page, then we'll trigger the back to website SMS drip from StreetText. Those are just a couple examples of automations we've created, but as Steve has mentioned, we provide a done for you setup in StreetText. So I'll link to that information below in the description.
But this is so cool. I mean, I love that you showed that, the use cases are endless. You're seeing a 20%. We see at least a 20% on our side as well. So think about your business and all the leads that you're generating, and all the money that you're spending on it. If you can get an additional 20% out of all of the, out of all your leads, that's huge in the course of a year, especially if you got a bigger team. It's a massive lift. And all it takes is just a little bit of, setup in the systems, integration, and then it's set and forget. It's largely doing all of that for you. And again, as soon as a lead responds, the moment they respond, it's going to show up in the inbox or your team members' inbox, which is really powerful.
Yeah, the inbox is a huge, huge, powerful tool that you're one of the earlier adopters of the inbox and follow up boss. So I was really excited to
I
see
actually
that.
think we were the first out of beta. We were the first live one, which is cool.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah. We pushed hard to make sure that we got out fast. So
First.
yeah.
That's great. So looking ahead, are there any future features or updates you have planned for Julie or the integration with FollowBoss?
Yeah, so Julie, one of the things that's most commonly asked to us, or specifically about this tool, is, can it or will it in the future be able to respond automatically, more similar to a tool like Rhea or Structurally? And currently, that's not something that we're actively working on, but it's definitely a consideration, something that we ponder from time to time, because it's obviously a natural, it's a natural move in that direction if we continue to extend. But even as it works today, it's so powerful because what you just really need is you need those messages going out automatically without an agent having to log in and do them. And that's really where the value is. And there's so many great tools to help you like craft really good messages. And you can always, as you're sending text messages, you can get in there and take a look and see like which ones were getting the best response. And then you can take that and add it into your other automations. But for us right now, I think we're just going to continue to expand out the team option. So as teams have different needs, some teams would, have multiple number needs. Some teams have ISAs that they're plugging in. Some teams so if you have a particular use case that you would like that we don't yet serve, you can always reach out to our team, and we'll definitely take a look at that for you. We're always actively working on it. I'm trying to think what else we're adding on it. But it's a pretty robust feature. It works really nice, super stable, very fast. And I think sometimes simple is best. It just does the trick. And if you are a key technology customer, it works seamlessly with everything Alina has built. And actually, one more unique thing that we did in our product, Alina, you may even know a couple more unique things, but if I just hover over, if you don't mind, I'll share one more thing here that I heard earlier. I should have done the presentation mode like you did, but let's just go to here. StreetText allows you to do another unique thing. If for some particular reason you are running another SMS tool in FollowBoss that's running a similar thing, you can actually change the way our brackets work. So right now, I was showing you, these are the tags that you want to use. But let's say for some reason you already had a tool doing that, you can actually select this on and we will use the curly braces instead. And so it's a small and minor little tweak to our platform, but what we've designed because we wanted to make sure that you had literally every use case sort of crossed off. So we didn't want to create a conflict if you were using another tool that was doing something similar. The advantage, though, is if you have this off and you use these, if you were using a different tool and you already had all your automations built, our system will immediately read those, and our system would just take over in place of that. So that's actually a really kind of a cool hidden feature. I remember actually when Chase signed up, Chase had built some text message sequences in the past that were being ignored because he wasn't paying for the service. He activated with StreetText. And the moment he activated with StreetText, text messages were going out because he had already built the automations and he already had these tags in place in the notes. And so our system took over immediately and just kind of filled that gap for him. So I wanted to show that as one more little unique thing. We're always adding features. So if there's anything that you see that I wish StreetText could do this, or I wish the texting tool would do that, we can definitely add it in as well.
Yeah, I love that hidden feature. I hadn't thought of that as a hidden feature of like a seamless transition from one tool or to another, or if you had previously canceled
it. Or if you want to test them both, you could run curly braces and square braces, right?
And yeah, kind of test them side by side. I love it. So if someone wanted to learn more about, let's just say there might be two people watching, they want to learn more about SMS only, or they want to learn about both SMS and your ad platform, where is the best resource for them to go?
Sure. So I'll just take you to the website super fast here and share my screen again. So everything is on the website, and if you go to, the SMS standalone's a little bit hidden, I guess. So let me just show it to you really quick. So if I go here, if you wanted to learn about more, if you click on the product feature, this will talk you through our different features. So magnetic ads is what we really call our feature around the lead gen side. So if you're looking to, you just want to generate leads, you want more leads for your business, you want very simple to deploy ads that are very easy. Alina can attest to this. It's a very simple platform. this is the tool for you. Remarketing is likewise incredibly powerful, especially if your database grows. And this also works incredibly well with FUB, because we have the integration that we have with Follow Boss allows you to actually remarket people based on stages, tags. Everything in your Follow Boss database is then synced to Facebook. You never have to go and upload a CSV or create a custom audience. It's all done in StreetText and synced 24/7. So this is a really powerful tool. And there's more to this too in terms of like ad bundles, and you can rotate ads. So there's some really, really cool stuff here. But the feature as a standalone, the texting, is this conversations feature here. So the conversations feature, if you click on this is that drip texting, as we've really covered in the call today. And if you wanted to sign up for this one by itself, there is a little button here. If you click start now, it'll take you to a page that looks like this. All you're gonna do is gonna put in your email address. You're gonna click continue. It's gonna take you to our payment page. It's then gonna walk you through every step and get you set up. And you can use the texting completely as a standalone. You don't have to use any of our other features. And they're available for you later if you wanted to try them, but you can just use this as a tool. It's really simple. You literally sign in, you go through a super quick process to register your phone number under the new rules that everybody has to do, including all the Follow Boss numbers. But we walk you through it. It's very, very easy. And then once that step's complete, we just get you to connect your Follow Boss API key. So all in all, it just takes a couple minutes. And once you're done, you actually never really need to log into StreetText again. You can just use now all of the way we showed it, like all of the tool through the action plans and automations in Follow Boss, and you can use StreetText. And again, it's all mirrored. So you don't have to log in, but if you wanted to, you'd see it. If you wanted to sign up for StreetText by itself, you could always go to our pricing page and then you can start a trial. So our ad side has a trial and our texting side does not have a trial. And the reason the texting side does not have a trial is there's a hard cost associated. One, we actually cover all of the costs of getting your phone number registered. So if you were coming to StreetText and we cover all those costs. And then of course, as text messages are being sent, we're covering those costs as well. So, but I want to let you know that if you were signing up for, say, our ad side, you can always add texting on as a standalone as well. That works with our system. And again, we just have annual and monthly plans. Or if you want just the feature alone, and I believe we're selling it for $69, so it's really not expensive. You would just click here, click start now, put in your email, and you can buy that feature just as a standalone and get that all set up.
I love it. Yeah. And one other forgotten feature often of StreetText is even outside of the platform of StreetText itself is the weekly masterminds. I try to join as much as I can. There's just so much value freely given from not only the staff at StreetText, but mostly the users. It's mostly user driven of tips and asking each other questions of like, what are you running that's helpful? What ad is working for you? What text message are you sending that helps? That weekly Wednesday mastermind is a huge help in the Facebook group. So if you, go ahead.
I was going to add to that. I mean, we have had hundreds and hundreds of our clients say that they would pay StreetText for just the mastermind, the value that they pay for the whole product. They would pay that on a monthly basis for just the mastermind alone. So to your point, because it's always timely, it's an incredible community of people like you described, and you're talking to people that are trying things in different markets right now, and there's some really good insights that can make a big impact on your business. I guarantee everybody that's at the masterminds does more business because they're at the masterminds, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Awesome. Well, thank you, Stephen, for your time. Like I mentioned, I will link to a previous interviews that we've done. I can't remember how many we've done, and link to StreetText website to learn more. So thank you, Stephen. I think being able to see under the hood real life examples of the product will be really useful for people.
Thank you, Alina. Thanks for the opportunity. Really appreciate it.
Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.